Hey guys, it's me Ram here, and I just had a pretty epic start to 2022. I got my first ever sub 9 3x3 average. For reference, I barely averaged low 11 seconds and my PB average before this was around 9.3, so this is a pretty epic jump and I'm really happy to have gotten my first ever sub 9 second average. And before you ask, the cube I used for this average was the GAN 12 MagLev. I lubed it with a lot of Traxxas 50k and now it feels absolutely amazing and fairly controllable, and I'm actually considering maining it. I'm still not 100% maining it because I'm still more consistent on my Cosmic Worm 2019. However, this cube is also working out really well for me. With that being said, I thought that it would be a good idea to reconstruct this average and show you guys exactly what I did, and without any further ado, let's get right into solve 1. By the way, unfortunately this average was not recorded. If you want to buy this cube or any other speed cube, be sure to get it at Speed Cube Shop and use the discount code RAM for 5% off your order, as well as a shout out at the end of my latest video. Alright, so here's the first scramble at the top of the screen now. Alright, so I'm not gonna deny it, all these scrambles were insanely easy, which is why I got a good average, and this scramble here was absolutely no exception. As you guys can see, we have a one move cross, and no, I assure you guys, I was not on easy cross mode. Anyway, so what I did was saw that this pair right here could be my first pair and I could actually cancel into it. So what I just did was R2 U prime R to set up this pair, and then U, rotate and insert. Then I saw this pair, inserted it into the back. Then I saw this pair and also this pair, so I inserted this, rotated, U2, inserted this, and then I had this OLL right here. And then I had a U-perm. I was considering risking it and going for the RUS U-perm, however I didn't do it. I just did a U2, did the standard U-perm, and the first solve was an 8.67. Alright, so here's the second scramble at the top of the screen now. Alright, so as you guys can see right here, we had this edge inserted and this pair was free. So what I started by doing was build my cross with L, D2, L, and I saw this pair and this pair. So what I just quickly did was inserted this and then did this left head slammer type thing to get two pairs already done. Unfortunately they were in the front, so I couldn't really look ahead, so I quickly rotated and then I saw this pair. I solved this like this, and then I rotated and solved this. Then I had this OLL and I was considering doing the COLL, however it's a bit too long and I saw all these blocks, so I just did the standard OLL and I was left with a J-perm. The time on this was an 8.08, my best solve. Alright, so now that I already had 2 8s, I was getting a bit nervous, and here's the third scramble at the top of the screen now. Alright, so on this scramble I saw that there was a pretty easy cross. I just solved it with D2, L, U prime, R prime, F, D2. What I didn't expect, however, is that I would already get this free pair, and this was just a 4 move insert away, so I quickly just did that like this. Then I solved this pair like that, and then I solved this pair, rotated and inserted it, and unfortunately I didn't know this OLL, so I panicked, just did this, and then I saw this and I do know this COLL, so I just did it, and guess what? We got an EPLL skip, which was really lucky, and with that my time was an 8.84. At this point I got really nervous because I already had 3 8s and I knew I could convert this into a sub 9 average, and here's scramble 4 at the top of the screen now. Now I was really hoping that either this solve or the next one would be an easy scramble, and this scramble right here does look fairly simple. I solved the cross like this, inserted this and then inserted these two and did a D2. Then I solved this pair, I solved it like this, then I had this pair which I solved like this, then I had this pair which I took out and solved like this, and then finally I had this pair which I had to rotate and solve like this. Then I got an OLL and I was left with a G-perm. Just a combination of really locky turning and overall pretty poor look ahead led to a 12 on this solve. This made me extremely nervous going into the last solve because I knew that a low or a mid 9 would secure a sub 9 average for me. With that being said, here's the last scramble at the top of the screen now. Before I did this last solve, I tried to clear my mind of all of the negative energies, I guess. I try to just focus on looking ahead well and turning decently. As you can see on this scramble right here, we have a pretty decent cross. I can solve this piece like this, U prime, insert that piece, U prime and insert this. Then I'm left with this free pair. which I inserted like this. And I also had this pair, which I inserted like this. This solve was actually really good for look ahead, which actually gave me a decent time. Then I had this pair, which I just solved like this. And then I was left with this pair, which I paired up and inserted into the back. Then I had this OLL right here. And I was left with this A-perm, which I did. Stopped the timer and got a 9.32, which secured an 8.94 average. So yeah, all in all, I'm really happy with the way I handled my nerves throughout this average, and overall I'm extremely happy with the time. An 8.94 average of 5 isn't something I think I'll beat anytime soon. So that about wraps up my 8.94 PB average reconstruction. Thanks a lot for watching. I really hope you guys enjoyed and learned something. Goodbye.